President Herbert Hoover had many enduring namesakes: the Hoover Dam, Hoovervilles, and Hooverball. Hooverball? Yes, Hooverball, the only sport named for a president. I'm Bob Summers, and this is a presidential story. Hooverball started in 1928. President-elect Hoover took a goodwill trip to South America aboard the battleship Utah, which incidentally was later sunk by the Japanese at Pearl Harbor in 1941. On his return trip, Hoover watched the sailors on deck play a popular naval game of Bull in the Ring. Bull in the Ring used a soft 9-pound medicine ball tossed around a circle while one person, the bull, tried to intercept it. Hoover joined in and enjoyed the game. When Hoover returned to Washington, D.C., his personal physician, Medal of Honor recipient Joel T. Boone, was looking for a way to keep the president, who was not a fan of formal exercise, physically fit. He started by suggesting Bull in the Ring, but that eventually grew boring. Using the medicine ball and concepts from volleyball and tennis, Boone invented, developed, and perfected Hooverball. In general, the goal of the game is for teams of up to 5 people to throw a 6-pound medicine ball over an 8-foot-high net. The other team needs to catch it and throw it back. If the ball is dropped or thrown out of bounds, the other team is awarded a point. Scoring is the same as tennis. 4 days after his inauguration, the first games were played. The players experimented with medicine ball weights. The 9-pound version from Bull in the Ring was too heavy, and net heights. Soon after the 54-year-old Hoover started playing, he had dropped 20 pounds that he had gained during the campaign. Every morning at 7 o'clock, except Sundays, somewhere between 4 and 18 cabinet members, Supreme Court justices, and other high-ranking government officials would show up on the south lawn of the White House. These players soon became known as the Medicine Ball Cabinet. 30 minutes later, a factory down by the Potomac would blow a loud whistle, which was their signal to quit, no matter how close the score. These important people had stuff to do. Only once did Hoover cancel a game. He had to rise early and write a message he was to deliver to the Senate later that day. Other than that, they played 6 days a week, in all weather, and even on holidays. They would play in the cold and snow, wind and rain. Although 2 or 3 times during Hoover's 4-year term it rained so hard they moved the game indoors to the White House basement. In his memoirs, Hoover wrote about Hooverball. It required less skill than tennis, was faster and more vigorous, and therefore gave more exercise in a short time. In articles at the time, the game was described as more strenuous than boxing, wrestling, or football. Others said that the exercise benefits from 30 minutes were 3 times as much as tennis or 6 times as much as golf. In his 4 years as president, Hoover never missed a day of work due to illness. And the popularity of the sport gained national attention through the press. Unfortunately, the Hooverball craze faded after Hoover lost the 1932 election to Franklin Roosevelt. The last game took place on the morning of March 3, 1933. 12 of the players' wives came to watch that last match, but soon picked up a ball and started their own game. But that wasn't the last game. In 1988, the Hoover Presidential Foundation hosted the first annual National Hooverball Championship. These players said it was like throwing a frozen turkey over a garage, catching it, and repeating until exhausted. The game's popularity has continued to grow into the 21st century, along with the rise of other non-traditional sports. Every year, including this year, during the first weekend in August, Hoover's birth month, hundreds of people descend on West Branch, Iowa, Hoover's birthplace, to play or watch the only sport named for a president. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please help out the channel, like and subscribe, and please visit POTUS.com for more interesting facts about the presidents.